Well, hello, everyone. I want to welcome to the call. My name is Doug Mainers. I am the Director of Member Relations and Training with Connected Investors. We're glad you're with us today. On behalf of Ross Hamilton, our CEO, I want to welcome you to Pinpoint Profits. We're super excited. The response has been outstanding. Everybody's excited. We got so much positive feedback regarding the Pinpoint Profits program with all the data, everything you have access to for these distressed sellers. And I tell you, we're super excited about the Pinpoint Profits program. So we're glad you're with us today. We're going to jump right in and get started. Welcome to the call, and let's get moving. So we're going to take about 30 minutes, kind of walk you through everything. Just a couple reminders here. The boot camp starts Tuesday on March 27th. That's a week from today at 9 p.m. I'll talk more about that later. And I'll come back to this slide here in just a minute. If you've got additional questions, you're certainly welcome to reach out to me as well. We'll take some questions on the call today as time allows. So let's go ahead and take a look real quick at the Connected Investor platform. I've logged into my profile. Here it is right here. So I'm logged into that. And you're going to see, first thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and get your profile set up. It's important to get this profile. You do it right here at the edit button. This is kind of your first piece that you want to do. So all you want to do there simply is click right on the edit button. And then you're going to be able to go in, and there's a help video right here under this orange tab. It's about 8 minutes long. So I would encourage you to watch this help video from Ross and get your profile set up. If you're brand new to Connected Investors, you want to go ahead and get that set up, okay? And you're welcome to pop questions in the question box as we go along. I'll answer them when I have a moment. So if you have a question, go ahead and pop it in the question box and go from there. So you want to go ahead and get your profile set up. That's important. So when somebody comes into your Connected Investors portal, you're going to be able to see and get you going with that setup, okay? So somebody was commenting they can't see the screen. It is showing live on my site. I do see that your view should be there. So I'm not sure if you want to try to go back to your email, click back through the link again, but it should be showing now live on the screen. I have it, it's showing on my screen here that everything is live. Okay. So that being said, that is your starting point, guys. Just get your profile set up and get going. Now, beyond that, before we jump into Pinpoint Profits, I want to, you have a toolbar that runs all the way across the top of the page here. For those who are brand new, I just want to make sure that you understand kind of how to navigate around and how to get started. So you basically have a drop-down menu right here. You can get to your profile page, change your email and all that here. You won't have the admin. I'm an administrator. That's why I have that. But the learn area is good. But there's several different areas here that you can go through. You got your messaging system here, your friend request here, your notifications here. You get emails as well on this, but this you're notified if somebody wants to be your friend, or maybe there's a new property in your area, not from Pinpoint Profits, but from Connected Investors and so forth. But you notice down here on the right-hand side, these are your advantages, but you can open up all your advantages simply by clicking on that green, there's green squares up there. And then over here, you can interact with the community and the marketplace. You can list your property for sale in the marketplace by clicking right there in the marketplace and then click list property. So again, I'm not going to go through all these, and then you can go through these, but click here, click on list property, and you can list your property for sale in our marketplace there for buyers to come out and make you an offer. And then in the community, you can post discussions about your property. You can interact with other members and friends. We have the Ask a Pro group, the Smart Forum, all kind of articles here. So these are all ways to get around the platform. Now, to get access to Pinpoint Profits is this black circle right here. And so you can enlarge those if you want by simply clicking on the 4 green squares at the top of the page. You can click here. It'll take you over to the apps. And then you see the Pinpoint Profits app right here. You simply just click right on that, and that'll get you in the Pinpoint Profits area. Now, if you're coming straight from an email you received when you purchased, it's probably logging you directly right in to that Pinpoint Profits area. So you want to save a highlight up here. You can actually bookmark this link. See the blue, what I bookmarked up there in blue? I highlighted in blue. You can bookmark that if you, depending on the system you have, there's a little arrow. I put an arrow here. That's a little star right there. You can click that and bookmark the Pinpoint Profits link so you can go straight in here. And notice I have a lot of bookmarks up here. You can do the same thing and have your Pinpoint Profits bookmark right there at the top of the page. So let's just walk you right down the Pinpoint Profits portal. See that 3 times fast, Pinpoint Profits portal, right? The first thing you're going to see here is a city and state search. You want to search by city and state to pull the results for that area. That's the way you want to use the search right now. You would put in the city and state, you would click search. But if you're already following some locations, you can simply click right here and go straight to the locations you want to look at. So for instance, in my situation, if I wanted to click there, I can click there and I can go to Wilmington or Jacksonville, North Carolina. These are the 2 areas that I'm following is where I would do it. And I'll show you that in just a minute. And then you notice over here, you have a workroom. You can actually download properties into a workroom to spend more time reviewing those. I have 50 properties in there right now, and you can see how that works as well. So that's basically a pretty easy setup on how to get going. So if you want to go ahead and see what properties are in a particular area, okay, if you want to see that, I'm going to go ahead and click Wilmington, and notice it pulls in those properties in the Wilmington area that I follow. It zooms in, and you can see them all right here on the screen. Now, as I scroll up, you see the blue simply means there's less than 10. Yellow means 10 to like 20, 10 to like 25 or 30, and then it goes up if you have more. And then, so I can zoom in. Let's just zoom in for fun. We'll come right in here, and you can see the individual pinpoints for the properties. Now, these, if you notice right here on the screen, you have the different colored little pins. Is vacant and not vacant. So the green, in this situation, if I click on the green, for instance, I'm clicking on this one. This is the Shell Road Village. So if I scroll down here and look at the Shell Road Village property, okay, let me just do one thing real quick before I do that. I'm going to show results in table. There we go. And you can see right here as I scroll over, it's showing that property is vacant. So if you notice that the green dots, or green pinpoints, I should say, represent, pins represent vacant properties. So these are properties that are vacant. Now there's other criteria we'll get to in just a minute, but these are showing vacant in the Wilmington area, okay? And then you'll see yellow dots, or yellow pins, I should say, they are your occupied properties. So I just want to make you aware of that. Now, a couple things you could do from the map right here is once I click on a pin like I've done here, I can click on info right here, and I could actually open up that particular property and see more information on it. There it is. So I can see some more information here, but I could also scroll down and look in the table. If I just want to get a quick peek at this and kind of see what it looks like, then I want to do that, I can do that right here. So this is actually a really high equity property. Notice it says equity is $175,000. Basically the value is $305. They purchased it for $185, and that's where we get the equity that they have in it, right? So it actually may be higher. If this value is higher than we show, which it could be, we're showing an estimate of value, then it could be higher. The purchase price, if they bought this property and been paying on it for a long period of time, it'll say they purchased it in 01, this could be much lower, which means the equity could be much higher. So maybe they only owe, $100,000. Then 305 minus 100, it means it has 205,000 equity. So generally, when you see equity, generally speaking, that's going to be, if property values are typically going up, that's going to be a conservative value. So I just want to show you that. That's going to be a conservative value right there. Let me go and close that up. Now, anytime you want to see the results that are showing right now in that map, then you can just click Show Results in Table, which is what I did right here. And I'm actually just looking at those results in the table. Here they are, okay? And so I can scroll over. Let's just kind of walk through these and show you a little bit about each section of the table right here. You've got grading. Now, obviously, in this situation, the grading is not showing up. It's going to vary from search to search. And right now, they don't have. Now, we are doing a little tweaking on our grading. That may be why you're not showing right now, because we're tweaking that. But obviously, you're going to see, like, this would certainly be an A-rated property, which means it has equity, above a 50% equity type thing. And that one's pretty doggone close, but maybe A or B. But we just looked at. But so grading right now is, we'll look around. Maybe that might be something being updated at the moment. I know our chief technical officer is working on that, so that should be something there that you'll see. But equity, as I talked about, you can take that from high to low. And of course, the rest of these are kind of self-explanatory. You see county, property address, city, state, and zip. That's pretty straightforward. Now, one thing it allows you to do, which is kind of cool, is to take a look at the street view. So notice right here underneath the address, it has street view, and I can click on that and it pulls up the street view for that particular property, and you can look around the Google. And this is kind of nice to look around the neighborhood. Hey, is the car, is the house next door in disrepair? And again, this data is based on Google, but it's, so when they drove the car past there, so to speak, right? But that's what you're looking at there. You just click on off the screen and it goes away. Now, as I scroll on across the screen here, it lets you know, is the property listed? And then you get into some of the specifics on like name, phone numbers, email addresses, things of that nature. Now, keep in mind, not every single property is going to have this, okay? So Ross mentioned in the webinar right now, about 30% of the properties have the extra data here, the names, phone calls, emails, or Facebook message, Facebook social media links. Right now, they're not showing live, so there may not be any right this second on the. I'm looking at a very small list of about 6 or 7 houses. Plus, these houses are vacant. Don't forget. So the phone numbers here is probably for the last resident, or it could be for the owner if they moved out. And so that's another reason you're not seeing as much data here. But needless to say, it's still some valid stuff. There's some stuff here that we could definitely utilize to reach out to who the potential seller is, right, in this situation. And so you get the idea now. And again, like I said, this is only going to get better. 30% is better than none. And there's nobody out there offering social media and all kinds of stuff like we are. So just be patient with that. I think you'll be excited once to see. Interestingly enough, it looks like all these properties are probate properties as well. Some of them showing the debt amount, how many the mortgages that they have, the property type. You can actually, let's talk about viewing some comps. And again, the property type can be selected here. The values can be sent in order. But let's talk about this right here where it says comps. What we do is we actually pull in values from Trulia. And we don't use the Trulia estimate, okay? Now notice Trulia has an estimate here of 151, and that's fine, but that may not always be accurate. So what you want to do is we use Trulia because they have the sold comps available. So as I scroll down, notice they have sold comparable properties right here in close proximity, right? That's going to allow you with, see, these are all fairly recently sold. That's going to allow you to be able to get an idea of value on that property. So definitely go ahead and look at that. Obviously, one thing to keep in mind is the closer the property is, the better the comp. So these are probably really solid comps in here, but just keep that in mind as far as that. It just gives you an estimate of value. And there's, that's fantastic. Now we teach you, if you want to be more detailed, have a relationship with an agent, go ahead and let them know that, if they'll give you comps, then you give them referrals. That type of thing. A lot of agents will do that. But you can get a pretty good idea of value right from these comparables that are right here on the screen. So that's why we use Trulia, because we feel like it does give you those comps that you don't have to just take their estimate word for it. Now you got the vacant tab here. You also have tabs that show, I just want to look at one other thing. Yeah, vacant, the year built, the size, acreage, when it was purchased. Now, when is it purchased? Is that an important piece? Yes, this is really important because generally, the longer ago they purchased, the more value, the more equity there is there. So you definitely want to keep that in mind when you're talking about the purchase price, and then the mailing address. Now, notice right here, if the mailing address is different from the property. Now, I'm searching properties in Wilmington. Look at these mailing addresses. That means, yes, they are out-of-town owners. So that's how you identify the out-of-town owners, is through that mailing address, okay? So keep that in mind. So that's how easy it is to run to the table. You can sort a lot of this data by when it was last updated. If maybe you only want to see the out-of-town owners, you can filter it that way, right? As I go over, there's the purchase price can be filtered, the purchase date, the sending order. One thing we just added, guys, of course, all these are filters you can use. One thing we just added is probate. So we didn't have this. This is something that we actually added today from feedback from our members. So thank you for your feedback, members. But a lot of people say, I just want to see the probate property. So you can click yes for probate and see those. And so that's something that, or no, if you don't want to see, man, I don't want to deal with probate. You don't have to, okay? And then as I scroll on over, you can see all the different, drop downs. You can see just the ones with sales, just the one with emails, that type of thing. Now, let's say you want to pull some data into a spreadsheet where you can get all the mailing addresses together. Maybe you just want to mail them all a card. maybe you don't want to call it, hey, I'm just going to mail them a card. That's fine. Look right here. Once you start selecting properties, notice it pops up and gives you the option to save or export. If you save it, it's going into your workroom. Remember, I have 50 properties in my workroom. If you export it, it's going to pull it right in to a Excel spreadsheet. So I'm just going to go ahead and select these 4. I'm going to hit export, and notice what happens right here. It pops up and for the Excel spreadsheet, and it goes ahead and populates that for me. So now I'll just click on that, and it's going to open up that Excel spreadsheet, and there's the data right there. So you can see right here, it gives you the data on that property, the addresses, and those kinds of things. Now, a lot of people say, well, what about the email addresses and numbers? I don't see those on the Excel spreadsheet. That's because we cannot allow individuals just to, that's not fair either. Somebody might go in there and just download a bunch of data and then spam a bunch of people. Don't forget the do not call list, the spam rules. We're not going to allow people to do that. And so that's the reason you can't take out. Now you can come back if you want to take those email addresses or those phone numbers and you want to just be able to, you're going to just copy them right into your spreadsheet. You can do that. You can just copy those. Now I've got them right here. Then I could just literally go in now and copy them, right into that spreadsheet. I can have a column for, the addresses and put them right in there. I'm sorry, not the addresses, but the email addresses and the phone numbers. So there's a way to do it. We just can't have you doing mass, because of the spam rules and all that kind of stuff. So basically what we're going to do, I've got, we are recording this webinar. Somebody was asking about that. So I can certainly get you a link to the replay if you need it. Okay. So that's how easy it is, guys, to go ahead and download the data. As soon as you start selecting a couple of items here, it does that. So let me roll on down. Notice when I start doing that, see it clicks export. Let me talk about a few other things real quick. Again, if you can select by area, the other thing you can do is you can clear searches. If you want to clear search, you can put clear search. It clears out everything. Now this is showing nationwide data now. Or if I want to go back and I just want to look at Jacksonville, I can click that, and now that data is pulled in there. Now these are all Jacksonville properties. So you see how that works pretty easily with that. Oh, here's the grading. So it looks like some of the grading is back. That, like I said, they're working on that. You see some of the negative equity there, graded Fs, so you kind of get the idea. Occasionally you'll see a positive one graded F, and that's because that the equity is less than like 10% equity, and that'd still be an F rating, just for those that were wondering about the rating. All right, let me drop on down. Let's talk about the rest. We've kind of did that. By the way, there is a 10-minute training video that you will see as I scroll down the page here. There's a 10-minute training video right here in the education section. Okay, so if you haven't watched that, guys, watch this training video right here. It should have popped up the first time you went in, but down here in the education, it does a really nice job. Ross does this of walking you through the platform and showing you how to move around in there. So definitely watch that training when you have a chance. If you haven't, I'd watch it a couple times, but I don't want to move too fast. Notice there's a Fund It button right here. If you need funding for your deal, you simply click right here on the Fund It button. There it is right there, and you submit through that portal. So I click Fund It, and it talks about connecting investors. It tells you a little bit about how it works right here, and then you just choose the amount, and it'll walk you right through submitting that for funding. So if you need funding, click the funding app. It doesn't ask you any questions like, at this point, you're not having to put your social in there or your credit, your that kind of thing, your personal information. It just gets general information. We can match you with lenders, and they'll contact you directly to offer funding to you. Okay, these are all vetted, verified lenders. We have many, 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 many lenders. They're all vetted and verified. I use them for my flips, and so definitely something you can reach out to. All right, let's talk about education, guys. You've got lots of education. The main focus is on this one right here because it has all your seller scripts, what to say, if you're going to email them, if you're going to Facebook message them, if you're going to call them, if you're going to send them a note or a letter or a card. Guys, it talks you what to do. And again, this is all built into your boot camp. Your boot camp, which starts a week from tonight, is going to have this built into it. We're going to walk you through how to do everything and what to do and how to do it. So just keep that in mind with the seller scripts. Got 53 pages of help right here that you can go through, and it has step-by-step examples, what to say, how to say it. Do I approach them by saying, hey, I see you're having some financial trouble. I can help you. Or do you just say, hey, I am, I work with a group of investors. We're buying properties in your neighborhood. Are you open to selling? So there's different ways to approach sellers. There's a lot of things you could do there, but this seller scripts, guys, is a key portion of being able to do that. But then we have other things, how to figure properties, how to get funded. Again, there's other funding sources. For instance, I use CIX.com for my funding, but I also have private investors that fund my down payment and my rehabs. So I have no money out of pocket. We teach you how to do that in that Get Funding book. So you definitely want to jump in there and take a peek at that. That's really, really good. You got to flip it quick. This is your wholesale training. You want to be a wholesaler and make some quick money? Right there teaches you how to flip it quick, how to find fixed properties. Even as a wholesaler, it's a good idea to understand how to fix properties. And that's got checklists, what to look for in a property and so forth. You got to flip it, to market it, to protect it. These are all trainings that are included in your Connected Investor Pinpoint Profits portal. Here's your boot camp schedule. What you're going to do is on next Tuesday night at 9 o'clock, you're going to come click right here and watch the boot camp. The replay is going to actually be immediately available right in that same. So if you cannot attend at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time, next Tuesday at 9 o'clock Eastern, if you cannot attend, the replay is going to be sitting right there for you, where you can go in and watch that. Okay, so I just want to give you a heads up there. That's where you find your boot camp. You don't need a separate registration link. You come click right on number 1 next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Okay, you got an area here you can take notes and that type of thing, and then you've got your apps there. And remember, you've got other apps to work with. You've got your Contract Genie for all your contracts. You've got a repair estimate app where you can come out and get an estimate from an investor. From a contractor. They'll come out and give you a free estimate on the property, so you know what the repairs are going to cost. So all that's built right into the platform and allows you to do that. So hopefully that's helped today, guys. You to understand how to move around the platform, how to get started, and you can see how easy it is. Guys, this is a massive amount. Foreclosure, not in foreclosure, less pendants. Here's your, and then over here, obviously, over here you have your probate. You'll see that over there. But basically, what you're talking about here, when it says courthouse auction, what that means is that property has been scheduled to go to auction, which is those are the most motivated sellers. Those are the ones you can get the first because they're the ones that want your help. And in fact, in some states, like in Texas, you see a lot of the courthouse auction. That don't mean it's already been auctioned. That means it's scheduled for auction. So those are the people who are going to reach out to you and put it under contract, get that thing before it goes to the auction sale at the courthouse. So keep that in mind. I know in Texas you don't see pre-foreclosure properties on our data because it's the way it's reported, the way the data is reported. Everything in Texas says courthouse auction because that's the way it's reported. In North Carolina, we have both pre-foreclosure and courthouse auction because it's reported differently. They get a pre-foreclosure notice before they get a sell date notice a lot of times, an auction notice. And so just keep that in mind. Courthouse auction and pre-foreclosure really are the same thing. There's really no difference. The biggest difference is the courthouse auction properties are properties who are pending going to auction, and those are your most motivated sellers. Your left pending, that's another name for foreclosure or pre-foreclosure. That means some type of legal action has been taken. And then you got your non-deferral. By the way, while I'm thinking about it, I think you're going to see a big influx. We're still pulling this data. Every update, you're going to see more and more data come in. So remember, this updates weekly, not monthly or 6 months like a lot of these, inferior data companies. Ours updates every week. So you're going to see fresh data come in. I know the vacant home data, we're talking about many hundreds of thousands of property. As that updates next week and the week after, you're going to see more and more vacant. So if you're not seeing a lot of vacant home right now, hey, don't worry, they're coming. You're going to see them, okay? So anyway, guys, yes, any questions? I'm going to take the last 2 minutes here and answer any questions that you have. So pop your questions right there in the question box, and I'll be happy to answer those for you. So feel free to do that right now if you would, and I'll be happy to answer anything that you've got. Also, I'm going to go ahead and pop my email address up here. If you have any additional questions and you don't want to put them in the question box right now, So you can email me, dmainers@connectedinvestors.com. Again, that's DMANERS@connectedinvestors.com. You can go ahead and put your questions in right there, and we'll be happy to go ahead and answer those. So anybody have a quick question before we get away? If not, you can email me a question, and I will be happy to answer it. So I'll give you another 30 seconds to see if anything comes in. And if I do miss you, I'm sorry. We have another webinar scheduled right after this, and so I have to jump. But definitely email me, dmainers@connectedinvestors.com, and I'll be glad to help you any way I can. So I don't see any other questions coming in. Well, guys, oh, hold on. I got some of their hand up, but I need you have a question. You have a question? You need to put it in the question box if you have a question. The questions? Well, just email me. Email me if there's an issue. We'll be glad to get you taken care of. That's not a problem at all. You can just email me. I'm just double checking the question, see if I missed anybody that may have posted a question in here. Oh, hold on. Here's one. Did I answer this one? Just looking here. So for some reason, it didn't notify me there was a question. Let me see if I can get there. So anyway, guys, don't hesitate to reach out to me if you've got other questions. We can do that. Oh, okay. It's asking about how quickly are the less pendants updated. Like I said, our data updates weekly. It updates weekly, okay? And so it allows you to be able to do that, update it weekly. Also, they're saying, do you recommend call or mailing first? I like calling first. I want to get there first before the mailers get there. So I'd recommend calling first, definitely. And then somebody's asked about looking up an individual property. Right now, our property search is city, county, state. So that's how you're going to be able to search. It's going to pull the data, because most of the time you spend a lot of time looking up individual property, and they're not even in foreclosure. They're not, they're not distressed. You waste a lot of time with vacant homes. That we try to pull in just the vacant homes that have the high equity, that are in some type of distressed state. And so right now you're just searching city, county, state. So I just want to make you do that. Well, guys, have a fantastic rest of the day. Thanks for joining me today on behalf of Ross Hamilton, our CEO. This is Doug Mainers. I'm glad you're joining us. We'll see you out there on the platform. Don't forget the boot camp next Tuesday night, and have a fantastic rest of the day.